Live. Okay, we're back. Any other questions? Let's take a look at some of this data. Who wants to volunteer? Okay, Cassandra, let's take a look at your volcano session. First of all, can everybody see this? Can everybody see? Yeah. You're squinting there, Eve? Okay. Okay, what we basically have first here is a very, very interesting transit line. She's almost communicating this energy, but we kind of ignore this, especially at the level that you're at today. So we ignore the transit line, but it's a very interesting transit line. Okay, first ideogram bingo, off the bat, nothing else but a mountain. Can't be anything else. Everybody see that? Yeah. Her first ideogram is a mountain. Bingo. When you get something as powerful as that the first time, stay with it. She tells us it's hard. Granite, broken, solid, very hard. Granite is high level, but broken, solid, very hard is good. You don't know it's granite. You may feel it's granite, and I'd buy that word in the C, but not in the A. Rocky, many small, hard things. Hard shapes, sand. Boy, this is just excellent, Sandy, just excellent. She declares it as mountain. Water, now you can see why she's calling it water, right? You can see that. But you've got two primary gestalts there going, mountain and water. So that should be a clue. Mountain and water. Water is often, especially at the stage you're at now, often mistaken for energy because it flows the same sort of way. In your psychic mind, sticking your hand into energy and sticking your hand into water feels almost the same. So you're looking for other cues, maybe wetness later on. If there's no wetness, you've got energy. Okay, so mountain, water, natural, partially alive. Wow. Partially alive. Very good. Very good. Okay, her C words: warm, sunny, crisp air, breezy, animals, very high level animals. I wouldn't put that in there. Blue skies. What you want to go here, I see no smells. You're going to get smells here. And smells, I want to hear some sniffing going on. You know? Sniff it. I get my psychic smells at the very top of my nose, and I know there's nothing olfactory up there, but that's how my psychic nose works. So I want to, you want to sniff. If you don't get anything, that's fine, move on. Colors, she's got blue skies. Skies is a high-level word for C. Blue is a good word, but there's not much blue here. But that's okay. She makes up for it in her intuitive sketch. She draws a mountain, and she draws it like it looks like a volcano. She's got stuff coming down the sides of it, and she's got a cap at the top of it. Very, very similar to our drawing. Very good. Okay, her second page. Her ideogram is, what is that ideogram? Can you see it? Energy. Okay, she's coming back from that water. She's got energy right off the top. She describes it as fierce, hot, fire, electric, ethereal, no form, current, shocking. These are great energy words. Great energy words. Energy is a tough one to get, especially at this level. But these are great energy words. Current, shocking, like a current. Very good. Shape and contour, zigzag, wild, shifting, into the dirt. Huge contrast with its reality. It's burning. She declares it inner B, a strong, comforted energy, energetics, natural energy. It's not mechanical, it's not nuclear, it's not chemical. She declares it as natural energy, flash, hot, electric. These are all words that belong in C. B is very simple. At the most, B is two words. It's your primary gestalt, it's your primary declaration, it's a mountain, and maybe it's natural. Or it's a structure and it's man-made. C words: hot, burning, zippingly fast, Microseconds, fleeting, powerful, fiery, wild, smoky. Boy, she's just got it, doesn't she? Very, very good.
That's amazing.
Good words. I want to hear more sensory data. Ask yourself, what do I hear? There's got to be sounds associated with that. What do I smell? Boy, volcanoes stink. So, very good though, very good. For third scan, what's that flat line? What's that flat line mean? Land, that's right. So she's got that major gestalt correct. Earthy, flat, packed, grainy, dry, hot, slightly uneven, underneath. The major gestalt is natural, earth, land, outside. Clear, clean, crisp, summery, gritty, crunchy. Your conscious mind is trying to grab a hold of this session. It's holding that first image you drew. If you just probe that line, you're not going to get that it's crisp and clear and clean. Land is not crisp and clear and clean. But it's your subconscious, your conscious mind is trying to bleed in there. Round, sandy, sunny and light, warm, rolling, flowing, rocky. And then she draws this huge volcanic scene. It's absolutely excellent. And she draws it with lots of squiggly lines. She's throwing that energy in there. Her subconscious mind is doing an excellent, excellent, excellent job. Very proud. Good job. Good job, good job, good job. Very nice.
That means she's over 50 and postmenopausal?
I'm only 47.
I'm not touching that. I'm not going there. Okay, hold on a second while I check with the powers that be to find out where we are in the deal. Oh, Sandy, you get the reward.
Thank you.
Just give her a certificate and let her leave.
No, no, no. We want that brain here. She called it beginner's luck, remember? We're going to make her eat her words. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, quickly set up for another one. Let's set up for your header. Okay, the directive is wild one. You are VB or VBS. Does Prue have you doing VBS?
Just VB.
VB, viewer blind.
What's your secret code name?
My super secret code name is all one word, Kidney, K-I-D-K-N-E-E. Kidney. It's my third one.
The directive.
The directive is wild one. It is 12:09 p.m. on
Are you informed?
Monitor informed?
Monitor Informed, VBMI. Today is the 9th, 12:09 p.m. PDT.
DDT or PST? PST is
It's Pacific Daylight Time,
daylight time? Oh, right.
PDT. Everybody got their header set up? You declared your PS, your ES, and your MS. Be sure you drop your pen after each one. I'd like to hear a lot more probing this time. Our best viewers' pen papers look like they've got holes in them because of all the probing. Okay. You're drawing the line across the top of your header. You put a T in the middle of the page. Prepare to access the objective. 1, 7, 8, 5, 6, 3, 9, 1. Draw your transit line. Set your pen down. Page 2. S up in the top of the middle of the page. Prepare to scan the objective. One, 7, 8, 5, 6, 3, 9, 1. Okay, draw your ideogram. Take your non-dominant hand, feel that ideogram, describe it. Take your hand and just put it over the general shape of that and describe what the action your pen made in doing it. It went up, it went over, it went down, it went round and round, whatever it did. The more you feel it with the more dominant hand, the more you're involving your entire being. Go on, you're describing the physical density. Is it hard? Is it soft? Is it semi-hard, semi-soft? Vaporous? Intangible? Moving on to the shape and the contour. Look at that ideogram. Use your non-dominant hand to feel it. Get the energy from it. Describe the contour of it. Move on to B. In B, you're declaring what that ideogram is. We only have 6. What is it? And then you're adding a descriptive word. Is it natural or is it man-made? And you're moving on to C. And in C, what colors do you see? What does this feel like? What does it taste like? What smells are associated with it? What sounds? Use your body at this point. Really give it your all. Break out of your shell. Feel it. Hit it. Taste it. Put it in your mouth. Put your nose up against it. Smell it. Write down what you get from it. Go up and touch it again with your non-dominant hand. How big is it? What's its shape? Is it heavy? What does it weigh? Is it light? Is it light or dark? Is it old or young? The more descriptive words in the C column, the better. You don't have to repeat yourself, though. When you've exhausted that column, move on to D. Draw me a picture. I want at least 5 words here. At least. Take your pen and probe your ideogram. Where's your ideogram? Probe it. What does it smell like? Put your pen right in it. What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What's it look like? What sounds are there? Probe it. Probe.
What? Oh, probe the sand?
Probe it 100 times if you want. What is this? What is this, a mountain or a
Roller coaster.
Okay, that would be a structure.
Not man-made.
I don't want you to name it.
Okay.
Use a new piece of paper, don't you? Oh, okay. Use the bed.
No, that's
We kill a lot of trees. Do you check on the availability of lunch? Check on lunch. Go ahead and ask Ruby of the desk what the deal is. We'll be here.
Okay.
Okay, I want to stop there, and I want to correct a few things that I've seen. In no specific order, let's try to keep each scan on one page. You can use more pages, but it's really not necessary. Each scan should be about 1 page long. Joyce has been viewing in the Nosomatics way for a while. I'm going to pass around this page. I'm not going to disclose what this is, but I'd like you to see her list of descriptive words and the way that she gets her A and her B. So if you see this, you'll understand a little more clearly. I want to at least pass it around. I want at least 5 words, because you're going through each one of your senses, right? You've got at least 5 senses. So I want a word for smells. Believe me, everything's got a smell. I want a word for taste. Everything's got a taste. Even if it tastes like nothing, that's a taste. And the more you exercise these senses, the better viewer you will become. It's best, I think, to keep your pages outside of your binder rather than inside of your binder, because putting them in the binder, I believe, subconsciously shanghais your subconscious by shackling it to something in the real world. This is a communication from the universe, and I want it as unrestricted as possible.
It's on its way.
Okay. So I want it as unrestricted as possible. I want to see more probing and more touching in midair. I want to see more body contortions. I want to see more squinting and looking. I want to see, you know what's called the 1,000-yard stare? Who knows what the 1,000-yard stare is? It's a thing from the military. You stare off into space, you're looking 1,000 yards away.
Except for it was after trauma, usually.
Well, I didn't want to go into that part.
I have a question.
Yes, but see, you're disconnecting your conscious vision and using your eyes to look at the objective. And you should be seeing colors. There should be colors in everybody's list of C words. Everybody's. Yes, your word, your question.
I mean, how do you know when to stop? You can just go on forever.
Well, you can go on forever. You know when to stop it when you start repeating yourself.
What if you don't, you're running out of space on the page?
Then call a halt to it. You look at it and say, I've got a lot of stuff here, and move on. Later on, we're going to go into the next step, which is called the collector. And the collector is where you really get to write a lot of words, because it's all words. So after everybody takes a look at Joyce's, then I'm going to answer any questions. But these are things that I see. I don't want you to, under any circumstances, name it. No naming. No naming. Naming is wrong. Okay?
What do you mean by naming? I mean, you're putting AOLs and stuff down. That's naming, right?
Well, we don't have AOLs, but if you say that that's a house, you've named it.
Okay, but what if you think house? Shouldn't you write down everything you think?
Break down, that's a high concept word. That's a good question. That's a high concept
You
word.
should not write down
Break
what you're thinking.
break it down. What makes me think it's a house? Well, it's made out of wood. So wood I'll write down, but I won't write down house. I might write down the word carpentry as opposed to, or I might write down the word built, or I might down the word shaped, or I might write the word peaked,
Okay.
but not roof.
But if you think something, when you think house, and maybe you didn't
Break
really
it down.
want to be, you should write it down.
You break it down.
But you're saying don't write house down even
Don't write house down. Ask yourself, what made me think house?
So you,
What did I get? What was in that data that spoke to me as a house? Maybe a family lives there. Well, write family down. Okay, that's a basic word. But believe me, 9 times out of 10 at this stage, house is going to be wrong. Okay, that's your conscious mind playing tricks on your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind cannot play tricks on your conscious mind. It's the other way around. High-level data needs to be broken down to its lowest possible level, and the low-level data recorded. I don't want to see high-level data. If it smells like a house, that's okay to write smells like a house, because houses have a certain smell to it, and you're describing that smell, and your olfactory vocabulary may not be very sophisticated. So you can write down smells like a house, but I don't want to see the word house in any other context, like it's a house.
Say a house-like, a roof-like shape.
You can say a roof-like shape, you can say a house-like shape, but I don't want to, because you've given me a shape, and you've disclaimed that it's not, you're not saying it's a house. So if you must, at this stage in your vocabulary, which is limited, use that term, then put house-like shape as opposed to, or house-like feel.
okay, then house would be an AOL.
We don't have AOLs.
Okay, but if you
Just-
think house, that
you
is an
divorce-
AOL. And you're saying
No, there are no AOLs. In this system, there are no AOLs. That's an antiquated way of looking at it, Eve.
well, you're basically saying that if you get that thought, don't write it down, whereas CRV
Process
says
the
if you
thought.
get that thought, write it over here.
What we're saying is process the thought.
But CRV does do that. though,
Break
so
it down
that's not
into
different.
lower terms. Okay? We don't think it's wrong, but we just don't want you to do it. We want you to use your brain more and develop the muscle better.
But that's across all of the
Sure.
systems. Yeah.
Sure. I'm not saying that it's wrong to I'm not saying AOLs are wrong. We just don't have them in this system.
Okay, I'm just confused because generally they say don't edit your thoughts.
You're not editing, you're processing. Okay? You're breaking it down. You're,
Yeah, but all the systems do that, but you come with the thought house, and then you say, okay, what about the house? That's the thought process, correct? House, okay, what about it? So,
Right.
CRV system, you go house, AOL, okay, what about it? Describe. But you're saying you go house, just don't write it at all,
Right.
and only write the description.
That's correct.
Okay,
Okay?
so minor difference, really.
Well, actually, it becomes a very important difference because to an analyst who may be a half continent away, looking at this data, we don't want him to know your thought that it was a house, because he may or she may analyze that data entirely different, and so we don't want you to do their thinking for them. They may have to do what we call sympathetic viewing and view what you viewed. And we don't want them to even think there was a house there.
So the reason that you do it is because of the analysis stage?
Not just because of the analysis stage, but to get purer data. To get simpler, more basic, and purer data. If you can break a house down, that's really great. Are we ready for lunch?
Yeah.
I think we're ready for lunch, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Question Well, when we make our declaration on B,
Yes.
that seems like we're really making it, we're making kind of a high level of saying.
Well, you're IDing only one of 6 major
But
ideograms.
it really, it's going to really swing in that direction.
Absolutely.
So
But
if I
you've
say-
gone through A to get there. And you've got a direct communication from your subconscious in the ideogram.
But I found, okay, but I found like I kind of changed my mind about my exam, but I think that's going to C and stuff.
That's your conscious mind trying to gain control.
The other way around.
No, I stopped it after the first scan. No, we're not going to finish.
Because I had a compound in it.
You had a subject and a structure.
Right.
So you would write subject and structure.
Oh, okay. I thought I had to make a choice.
No, you don't have to make a choice.
Oh, okay.
No. It's rare when that happens. But actually, you actually were correct. It is a subject and a structure.
Oh, so the subconscious was right. Great.
Your subconscious is always right.
I have some sort
You don't know what it is. We're not going back to it. I'll tell you what it is.
Oh, what is it? Yeah, can we see what it is?
Sure.
We're not going back. You're live.
Okay. For those Prue fans, she's being interviewed on video in the other room, and she'll be in for the next segment. But I'm going to take you through the next 2 parts of the session. You've now understood and completed the preliminary 3 scans. You've touched the objective in 3 different ways. Now it's time to get deeper connected. So we're going to introduce you to what we call the collector. There are 2 types of collectors. It is on page 5 of the session. There are 2 types of collectors. I'm first going to teach you what's called the open collector. And you set up the page exactly like this. This is what your page 5 will look like. Middle of the page at the top, you'll have OC for open collector. Oh, and I'm skipping ahead. You'll just have OC for open collector and a number 5. Here's what's happening. You are deeply connected now. You've scanned the objective 3 times. And now you're getting into more serious data. So what you do is you take each one of your scans and number them 1, 2, 3. And you just do that by, I'll draw a quick scan. Okay, here's my pictograph. And on my first scan, I label that, put a 1 there. Okay?
Is it just the pictures that we're talking about?
Yeah, well, your whole scan, the whole page is your scan. So, including the words, including the ideogram, including the B, A, B, C, and D is your scan, and you're just putting a number by the pictograph. Scan 1 is labeled 1. Scan 2 is labeled 2. Scan 3 is labeled 3. Then you spread your scans out in front of you. And you start to probe scan number 1 with your pen. And you're primarily probing the pictograph. However, it could be that you probe other elements. Your pen may move itself to an element it wants you to probe. Remember, you're deeply connected now. And you start to write down words. The collector is a collection of words. Let's say on scan number 1, you had red, green, and blue. Or let's say that your B was a subject. So you're probing and you say, well, subject. Now, I want to get a feeling for that subject. I may not even have to probe it, because as soon as I wrote it, my subconscious told me it's a masculine subject. Well, that didn't show up in my first scan. I got deeper data in my collector. Then it's going to tell me that it is an older masculine subject, and it's going to be involving the color red, and here comes yellow, and here comes yellow comes golden, and here under golden comes burnished. It's a more sophisticated word, still low level, but much more sophisticated. Wouldn't normally show up in a scan. It belongs in the collector. More sophisticated data. Not necessarily high level, but more sophisticated data and deeper data. And you make a long list of words. You fill the page with words, or as much as possible. And when you are finished probing scan 1, how do we know we're finished? When you start to repeat words. Gosh, I got that golden term again. I'm done. Doesn't matter what order, but I'm probing it. Golden coming out. I'm done. Move on to scan 2. Start probing scan 2. Writing words down. Filling the page. Column after column. At least 3 columns of words.
Per each scan?
No. On the page, you're going to have at least 3 columns of words. At first, you may not fill the page. That's okay. Joyce has been viewing since February, and she probably puts 50, 60 words on a page in a collector.
Oh, I mean,
20 words in a column, 60 words easily. From 3 scans, she's pulling 60 words out. And the session is really starting. I love the collector. Why? Because it's a giant step forward from the scans. It starts to coalesce the session. All of a sudden, you're combining what was on 3 pages into 1 page, into one cogent, massive idea.
Mike, just
Yes.
missed something here. You have all 3 pictures in front of you, but you don't write down about picture 1 and then scan 1, scan 2, scan 3. You write them all together. This is
In an open collector, you just combine them all.
all right.
And you're using your non-dominant hand, you're using your probing pen, you're feeling them, you're getting excited about them. The collector is very exciting. It's why? Because it's so much detail. It's really shaping things for you. And it's the leaping off spot for the back half of the session. The first part of the session is your transit line and the 3 scans. The collector is the swing point. It's really exciting to me, because then that's when everything starts to be pulled together. There is a variation on the open collector called the defined collector, when you have 3 very different scans. Let's say, just for example, scan number 1 is a subject, scan number 2 is a mountain, and scan number 3 is energy. Well, that's 3 distinct concepts. So we may not want them combined into one, but we want them on the same page. So we'll spread out, we'll number 1, 2, 3, and we'll put DC up there, defined collector. But to start off, we're going to do an open collector just to get the feel of it, and we'll move into a defined collector before we're done. But the first collector you do is going to be an open collector. So an open collector pulls everything from 3 scans together onto 1 page. And it's much more sophisticated data. Here is where a very exciting thing starts to happen. You start to get chunks of data. Whole phrases and sentences. What do you do with them? You write them down. You record them. Why? Because you're much deeper connected, and you're getting data in what are called data streams. Remember the data stream term that was used in the movie Minority Report? Right out of remote viewing. You're also starting to get visuals. Image streams start coming to you. So you can write, if you get a big chunk of data like that, we want you to acknowledge it and write it down. It may be, that phrase may be partly cloudy. And I want to put DS colon in front of it to tell that analyst who reads it that I got a data stream, I got a chunk of data. Not just cloudy, it's partly cloudy. It means the sun's coming through. So I've identified it to the analyst who may be half a continent away reading this a month from now.
What if you get a data stream back in Scan 1?
If you get a data stream back in Scan 1, there is a way to record it. We would prefer at this stage, by Sunday, you'll be recording them. But at this stage, we want you to break it down. Just accept that it's there, break it down into simple terms, and put it in your C column. To answer your question fully, what you would do is under D, you'd write IS feels really cold. Because that's the whole thing. Not just cold, but feels really cold. That's telling the analyst that you got an intuitive statement, an image stream, or a data stream, however you've labeled it. Intuitive statements and image streams are virtually the same thing. We read them virtually the same way. Data streams virtually the same way. So it really doesn't matter how you label it, IS or DS. But you can. The choice right now is to label them ISs, and they play a big part later on in the session when we get to the matrix. They play a really big part in the matrix. But you'll start to get them definitely by the collector. And you may have, out of 60 words, you may have 2 or 3 ISs or DSs. There are some people who have tons of them. That's just the way they get the data. But usually they've been trained for quite a while, and they've been viewing for quite a while, and that muscle is very strong. The pathway between their subconscious and the session is a super highway at this point, and so it can handle big chunks of data. At the stage we're at, it's a little walking path. So we want to deal it in small words and small chunks. So, who's got questions on the collector? You're probing your scans, primarily your pictographs, and recording more sophisticated terms. It's not a duplication of your C column, although there could be some similarities, especially at the top of it, at the beginning of it, the beginning of the probes. It's the next step, so your data is more detailed, it's more sophisticated.
This is the pictograph?
Pictograph is D, the image in D.
Oh, the intuitive sketch?
Yes.
Question. So you have 1, 2, 3. Under 1, you're going to do only descriptors of scan 1. Is that correct?
If you're doing a defined collector, if your data is such that the collector is a flexible tool. You can do it as an open collector, which we're going to learn first, and then
Write down
a defined, write down whatever. Whatever you're feeling, write it down in the sequence that you feel it. It may be that your pen wants to start with scan 2.
Oh, so you have to put it in the column that it's labeled over?
On a defined collector.
Okay.
Not on an open, you don't have any defined columns on an open collector.
Oh, because it said OC and then you put the 1, 2, 3 up there.
I erased the 1, 2, 3 from the
Okay.
OC. I was combining that OC and DC, yes.
On an OC, do you allow for probing any of the words that you've already written down?
On the scan,
Yeah.
you can probe
Can you, if you write masculine, can you probe that?
on the OC.
Yeah.
You can. We refer you to probe the scans.
Okay.
You can, if you feel so compelled to. Your subconscious is saying, hey, go into there. So you can. You have more flexibility with it. It's not as defined as the scans are. So you're recording much more sophisticated data And in rapid fire, collectors come very fast. You might think, gosh, 60 words, I'll be there all day. Frankly, it's one of the fastest aspects. It's faster than a scan. And you're also connected deeper to theta, so your writing becomes crappier, tough to read. So we have an open collector, which is you're probing all the scans and writing them down, writing these words down on the page. Then a variation of that is the defined collector, where if the images from your scans are so different that you don't want to combine them, and you know by looking at them, I don't want to combine these. I don't want to do an open collector, so I'm doing a defined collector. So boom, 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 you do 3 columns. Or how many scans you have. You may only have 2 scans in Prudence's case, or 4 scans in my case. Then there is a variation on that. And the variation on that is, if your scans, you look at your scans, you've got them numbered, and you see, gee, scan 1 and scan 2 are the same. I got the mountain twice, it's the mountain. Then you combine 1 and 2. And you write that like, you have 2 columns, and you have 1 and 2 and 3. So this tells the analyst that scans 1 and 2 are the same element. You know, you've done these scans, you're looking at them, they've got the data in front of you. Your subconscious saying, man, it's the same thing. So you can combine. But that's a little sophisticated for this exercise. This exercise is open collector only. Once your open collector is done, you move on to the next page. And it's the next element. We're teaching these 2 elements together because they go together. And that is, page turns to landscape mode. We've been doing all of this letter mode. Now your page turns and remains for the rest of the session in landscape mode. You have a new piece of paper, and it's now page 6. And page 6, put my page 6 up here, and I put GS in the middle of that page in the landscape mode. Landscape mode, general sketch. GS is general sketch. What is the general sketch? Well, you've just done 3 scans. You've just done a collector. You have a pretty good idea what's going on here. What do? Well, you give me one sketch that combines everything. It may have 3 elements to it. It may have the mountain and the subject, and it may have the water, but what I've got is one sketch with all of those elements in it. You see? It may be, after I've done my collector and after I've done my 3 scans, it may be that all I've got is this guy. All I've got is the subject. Well, that's, my subconscious is screaming to me, that's what this session's about. That's what I've recorded. It's not necessary that you duplicate your 3 pictographs in this. And there may be new elements. All of a sudden, I've got this, and I'm looking at it, and this, geez, it doesn't seem right. Why isn't it right? Because there's something in the sky that I didn't pick up in any of my scans, but it belongs there. Why did I get this element? Well, I got that element because I'm really connected. And I've done all this preliminary work. I've got 3 scans, I've done all this probing, I've got 3 ideograms, I've got a collector, and bam, that belongs there. It shows up new. And maybe it's not right yet. Maybe over here, there's something else. Now it's right. Now it's complete. Now I can move on.
was in the...
No.
on the-
If you realize by the time you get to the general sketch that scan 3 is meaningless, it delivered you nothing in the collector, and it was terrible to do and boring, your subconscious is telling you in the only way it knows how to move away from it. And you know what? Allow your pen, not your brain, to make the sketch. Because your pen, your body, will tell you what's going on here. And the first thing it draws is the most important thing in that sketch. So it will place it where it wants to go. You may have had that subject really small in your 2 scans or 3 scans, and it was in the subject was in the scans every time. He's really small in all those scans, but all of a sudden he's giant in the collector because your pen wanted to draw it that way. Well, your pen is really an extension of your subconscious, and it's drawing it the way it sees it now after you've processed all that data in it. Yes?
What do you do if you get somebody who says their pen doesn't want to do anything?
Start probing. Start probing the page. Go a little deeper. You'll be in theta. You're going to draw something. Reproduce the 3 scans if you have to. Look at it at that point and say, do I like this? Do I like what I've just done? Get something in the general sketch. General sketch usually ends up being the primary visual element of the entire session.
What do you do if you get things out of order? Like if you're doing open collector and you see visual images and you're not to the general sketch yet?
And you want to, first of all, you want to write them down in a collector what they are, and it's okay in the collector if you've got to drop in a small sketch. Occasionally we will see somebody who just couldn't resist and draws in a half moon or a star or a lightning bolt or something they've got to get out of their system. Get it on paper.
So are you saying you should try to resist then, or I mean, you know what I'm saying?
The purpose of the collector is to write words.
Okay, so
If you feel compelled, then your subconscious is telling you something. We want you to maintain the protocols in the order that you learn them.
So you try to enforce the order, sort of.
Well, I don't like the term enforce. We try to follow the order because that's been proven in laboratories to deliver the most beneficial data. We want you as disciplined as possible. So if you are a visual person, I worked with a gentleman, as a matter of fact, the gentleman who got gold fever. He was a visual guy. He started off his sessions, he wouldn't do transit lines, he did what are called advanced perceptuals, APs. He would draw his visuals before the session even started. And his collector had more visuals in it than it had words. But he was an anomaly. He wasn't the norm. Not that any of you are the norm.
And he's off lost in the desert.
And that's right, he's still looking for that lost Dutchman's mind. So, I don't know if he found it. I know he didn't find it because it's still lost. And so is he. But we would prefer it if you stayed within the protocols. If you feel compelled, then you have the freedom to record a small visual. And sometimes you just want to jump right to the general sketch after completing half of your collector. That's okay too, because your subconscious is directing the session at that point.
Michael,
Yes.
we can tackle this later, but I need to ask it now so I can move on.
Yeah.
It came to me earlier. The case where that guy got infected with gold fever, could this be an example of entity attachment occurring?
No,
to
pure and simple gold fever.
You're sure?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He almost lost his wife over the deal.
They want to get it.
No, it's gold fever. He knew where that was. He was not one of the people who was talking to Jacob Waltz. John was the first one who talked to Jacob Waltz. Have you met John this morning? You'll meet John. He's our chief of operations and an absolutely excellent viewer. And it was the first time he'd ever talked to a ghost. Pretty amazing.
Not the ones you talked to that came
sneaky ones.
Yeah. Yes, Wayne.
Yeah, the fact that he got gold fever suggests to me that he wasn't grounded. Do you have emphasis on helping people stay grounded?
Yes, you're right. He was not grounded. An indication that he was not grounded was he wasn't disciplined enough to follow the protocols. He felt like he had to express those visuals no matter what, and that ungrounded him. And he was well trained. He'd gone to SRB, he'd gone to Courtney, and gone through all of that, and then he'd come aboard at TDS, and at that time we were offering what we call the extravaganza, which is 50 sessions in 2 weeks, live in a classroom setting like this. And it was just an awesome viewing experience. But he was so into the way he had to do it that we recognized that he wasn't grounded. And this is as a result. He got gold fever and couldn't shake it for the life of him.
Breaking my heart.
Well, he wasn't the only one that got gold fever, right? There was another one too.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But he was just over the top. Yes.
Well, it seems to me they were acting upon, a strongly held conviction of something, but I think where it goes off, at least in my mind, is when he kept up at it when he had no result.
True.
I mean,
Yeah.
he found the gold on the first or second time.
Exactly.
Bravo, hats off, you got it.
Exactly.
But
But
the 30th time, then we start having adverse consequences.
he was lost, absolutely lost, and he wouldn't listen. So that was what was his problem. Your problem is to do a good collector, and to get you to the collector, we're going to have you get into theta state. So whip out your trusty tapes and CD players. I need the tapes from Prudence, the cassette tapes. She brought some cassette. No, she said she had, so go ask her for where they are. Everybody,
Did you have some cassettes?
we do have some cassette tapes also.
Yeah.
We have to go get them,
You need two people.
at least 2.
I need to.
3. And we have to, Prudence brought them, I have to find out where they are. Hook up your cassette players. You're going to be listening to sounds and passes as music that have been scientifically developed in audio laboratories to get you into a dreamlike state, which is highly conducive to remote viewing.
So we don't play these in our cars?
You cannot, no, this must be listened to with headphones. I would recommend you don't play it over speakers or ever in your car. Do not operate heavy machinery while listening. Go ask anyway. Just, they'll stop. Then stop tape.
She might end up in Mexico.
Only you
Yes.
would think that was the invitation to
Don't have what?
I don't have a
We'll round you up one. We'll round you up one.
Yeah, same here.
Say that again.
Same here. I don't
Yeah. We'll do the best we can to round you up one. Any other questions regarding the collector and the general sketch? We're only going to do the collector at this point, because I want to see how you've done. So we're going to do 3 scans and a collector on a new target, yes. So go ahead and set up your headers. Who needs paper?
I can use some more.
We kill a lot of trees in this business.
I know.
We may or may not have headphones for everybody. If those who don't get to wear headphones this time will wear them next time, we'll trade off. So this is a VBMI. The directive is penny sextant.
She brought one and she forgot the rest, and it's in a box. That's it.
No, I want the player.
Go to player.
Cassette players. Oh, she didn't bring any players? Okay. Okay, I have one cassette. Who needs a cassette? Three people, four of us?
You make copies?
Yeah, it's going to take it has to be done in real time. Who needs them? Who needs? Okay, well, we'll start over here and work around.
I have one at home and I'm used to it, so that they can use it.
Okay. So penny sextant is the directive. I want you to spend at least 15 minutes listening. So we'll get back in touch with you in 15 minutes. Those of you who aren't able to listen, relax, try to meditate for 15 minutes. Close your eyes, get as woozy as you can prior to starting.
Time is it? Do we need that yet?
No, you don't need a time yet.
Starting yet, okay.
You're cooling down.
I guess we're supposed to do that after. Put your headphones down around your neck. Keep the music playing. Put your headphones down around your neck. Keep the music playing. Put the headphones down around your neck. Keep the music playing. Put the headphones down around your neck. Keep the music playing. Okay, everybody's got their headers set up. Prepare to access the objective. 4, 4, 6, 7, 9, 1, 9, 2. Transit line. Set up for your first scan. Page 2. Prepare to scan the objective. 4, 4, 6, 7, 9, 1, 9, 2.
A colon, using your non-dominant hand, describe the path that your pen took. Probe your ideogram for physical densities. Is it hard? Is it soft? Is it semi-hard, semi-soft? Is it liquidy? Is it vaporous? And probe it for topography. What is the shape? What is the contour? Write that down under A. Got all that done, move on to B. Declare what you believe the ideogram to be. Looking for two words here. The first would be one of the names of the 6 ideograms. Is it mountain? Is it subject? Is it energetics? Is it land? Is it structure? And then either man-made or natural. Once you've got that, move on to C. Your sensory impressions. What colors do you see? What does it feel like? What does it taste like? What sounds do you hear? What are the temperatures? What are the colors? What's the size of it? Is it inside or outside? Is it light or it's dark? We're just on scan 1.
I know.
Of the first session. I just got a beta for the first time. After this, we'll do a demo with you guys. We'll do the demo after this session. Okay.
Did you get a picture of sketch?
Yeah, I explained it. They haven't got to do it yet.
You explained open collector and defined collector.
Yes.
Okay.
They're doing an open collector on this one. So you've got your sensory words. You got a nice column in C. Go on to D and draw me a picture. Probe and go, probe and go. Try not to think. Probe and go.
And if you think you know what something is, break it down to its most essential elements. And write down the reasons why you think it's that thing. Because one thing I can say with certainty is that you'll never be able to guess what it is you're viewing. So it's important to keep everything on the level of description.
More page space.
They need ideogram drills.
Oh no, keep going. You don't have to stop. Well, you said you wanted that one page. Oh, you know, if you, that brings up a good question. If you need more room than one page for this, you can use 2 pages. That's totally acceptable. Oftentimes my scan pages will be 2 pages long. So if you need more room, you can move on. I just didn't want people flipping pages over and using the back. And darn it, lost my thought. just walking around the room, so I'm just noticing some things. So I'm just going to make some general observations. But if you think you know what it is, you know, and you're getting some fairly rigid description of things, like you're assigning labels, we'll say nouns to things. It's important, you know, not only to break it down to the level. Let me talk into your lapel.
No, that's fine. You're just within a couple people.
Yeah, so if you are having, you know, a thought that, you know, say you think that this is, let me think, like Santa Claus, for example, which it is not Santa Claus, by the way. I just tried to pick something ridiculous that nobody would guess at the moment. Yeah, that's what he says, damn. So say you think that this is Santa Claus. Break it down to its essential elements. You might think jolly, red, fluffy, fat, things like that. But sometimes it's difficult to break things down into those small descriptors. So what you want to do is to write out a sentence or two articulating that feeling that you're having. You can write something like, it feels like Santa Claus because, and sometimes the act of writing that out will help you break down your perceptions into more essential elements. We used to declare what we call deductions, which would be comparable to like the CRV AOLs, but we found that declaring them, and even as a declaration of something you think it's not, there was something about cementing it that helped your mind fixate on it. And it seems, in our opinion, better to train you to learn how to break those down instantly. Always break them down. So that's why we do it this way. So I know there was some question about that. People were pulling me aside out there. So if you think you know what it is, I can guarantee you you're wrong. I'm seeing some great data here in this particular objective. So just trust your own intuition that you're completely correct. You're just maybe having difficulty finding appropriate, you know, terminology for what you're sensing. Okay, I'll shut up. Everyone's doing great.
Is it a C, function C? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Probe with this. Probe with the right hand. Feel with this hand. Okay. Okay. Probe with this one a lot. This one. My feeling hand. Yeah. Okay, because I can write with my left hand too. Which stop? Okay, probe with that. Feel with this. Okay. Okay.
Are they ready to move on to the next scan? Is this a one scan deal?
No, this is a 3 scanner.
Are we doing the second?
Going to an OC.
Oh, going to OC. Get
Yeah.
them started on scan number 2. Some people have already moved ahead.
Okay. Set up for scan number 2. Page 3. Scan up in the top. Prepare to scan the objective again. 4467 9192. I'll give the tag again. 4467 9192. Ideogram. A colon. Use your non-dominant hand to trace the ideogram. Write down what your pen is describing. You can flip it, you're left-handed. You can flip everything. Yeah, put your ideogram over here like a lefty would do. Probe it for physical density. Is it hard? Is it soft? Semi-hard? Semi-soft? Liquidy? Vaporous? Intangible? Feel it for the topology. Write down the first word that comes to your mind.
Somebody has some really organic, messy pages, and I love that. It shows you're not keeping closed in because it looks really great.
Man-made what? What? Man-made what? It's got to be named the ideogram. Once you've got your A done, move on to B. Declare the ideogram. It's one of 6 things. It's a subject. It's water. It's a structure. It's energetics. It's a mountain or it's land. And then it's either natural or man-made. Once you've got that and you're doing very quickly in B, you're moving on to C. C colon. What are your colors? What are your temperatures? What are your textures? Your tastes, your smells? What's the size of this thing? What does it feel like? Is it rough? Is it smooth? Is it hard or is it soft? Is it old or is it new? Is it wet or is it dry? Is it light or is it dark? Is it inside or outside? Do it very quickly. You stumble, move up and probe again. Nice column of C words. Very descriptive. Once you've got your C words down, go to D. Draw me a pictograph. Probe and go. Probe, probe, probe and go. There yet. We're not there yet. Have you done 3 scans? Okay, cool. Go ahead then. Go ahead. Spread your scans out. Do 4. Spread them all out. That's good. Feel them. Probe them. Who's ready for scan number 3, page 4? Let's do it. Page 4. S at the top of the page. Prepare to scan the objective. 446799192. A colon. Using your non-dominant hand, trace the ideogram and record with your writing hand the direction your pen took. Then probe your ideogram for physical densities using your dominant hand and your pen. Feel free to use your non-dominant hand to feel the ideogram. Probing for physical density, hard, soft, semi-hard, semi-soft, liquid, vaporous, intangible. Whatever that feeling is, we write it down. Then using your non-dominant hand to feel the ideogram, you record, using your dominant hand, the topology, the shape, the contour. Is it bumpy? Is it rough? Is it smooth? Is it angled? Is it round? Is it flat? Is it tapered? Quickly moving on. Going to be declaring what you've got. What is that ideogram? Is it a subject? Is it water? Is it energetics? Is it a mountain? Is it land? Is it a structure? And then tell me whether it's man-made or natural. Once you've got that, go to C and start your sensory inventory. Tell me what you see, what you feel, what you taste, what you smell. Use your nose. Touch what it is you're viewing. Reach out and touch it. Hit it. Make it make a noise. Describe what that noise is. Is it large? Is it small? Is it tall? Is it short? Is it wide? Is it thin? Is it cold or hot? Is it inside or outside? Is it light or dark? Is it calm, windy, cool, hot? What's going on? Tell me what's going on. At an impasse, reach up and probe your ideogram. Ask it what it is. Go to D and draw me a picture. Pictograph. When you've got that done, let's go to the collector. We're going to do an open collector. Number all your scans, 1, 2, and 3. Spread them out in front of you. Set up page 5. OC at the top. Start to probe your scans. Let your pen do all the work. Feel your scans. Pull the energy out of them. I want to see long columns of words. I want to see an occasional image. Make sure your column contains your be. If it's a subject, it's a subject. If it's a structure, it's a structure. It's a mountain, it's a mountain. Probe and go. Probe and go. Write down the first thing that comes to your mind. Don't have anything, move on. So we have to have many probes. If after that many probes you don't have anything, move on. Okay. There's a lot of energy in those scans. Use your non-dominant hand to pull it out. Use your probe to pull it out. Record it in your collector. It's the most exciting page of the whole scan, the whole session. When you filled the page with words, move on to your general sketch. Do it in landscape mode. Take a look at your images. Take a look at your words. And draw me a beautiful picture. On that collector, probe and go, probe and go. For each probe, you should get a word. Whatever it is, write it down. It's not supposed to make sense to you. You're not supposed to edit. Come on, let's get that general sketch. You're only using half of your body. Use this non-dominant hand.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's your probe with your pen.
You probe with your pen, you feel with that, and reach out and feel too.
Okay.
You're done. Where? Well, then you're not done. These are good. The subject. Put in your subject where you want. Go ahead. Add. Add. Yeah. Wait a minute. Feel it first. Let your body tell you where to put it. Who's done? Raise their hand. Okay, let's go.
The teacher's looking over your shoulder. Okay, who's finished now? Oh, just about everybody. Okay, Wayne, you just
You're done. Okay, very cool. Thank you. Okay. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Collectors. Let's see some. Tony, let me see your collector.
It's a bit general, actually. So.
Okay. I can't read your writing, so you'll have to read it for me. Read out loud.
I had lonely, poverty, war threat, roots, hard work, keeping the wolf from the door, American voices, distant mountains, light is dimming like gaslight, hidden in woods, patterns man-made, wood, lots of it, graveyard below, trails, memories of children.
Graveyard below. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, Eva, read yours.
Up high blue, sky like hard, blocky square, rounded edges, yellow, white, ethereal, cloud-like, stretched out, vista-like, cement-like, rough, bitty, mountain-like, dry, dirt-like, gravel-like. Sorry, I get used to putting my ALLs. Slippery slopes, danger of falling, danger of slipping,
A theme of danger there, huh?
stick out hand like for prevent fall, like wet, cold,
Wet and cold.
wet, cold person or thing, cold.
Wet, cold person or thing. That probably sums it up. But Scott, what's yours?
Ocean, cool, breeze, open, alone, water, fish, salt, natural, anchor, birds, bird sounds, ship's helm, wide, windy, bright sun, clouds, and wood.
Are we starting to hear a theme emerging here? How about you, Mimi?
Energy, light, flash, sky, sunlight, aircraft, person, cool, streaming light, dark, towering, large structure, building, triangle, pyramid, open space surrounding.
Very good, very good. Kathy?
Soft, mushy, fluffy, bright, massive, undefined, tall, distant, hard, numerous, alike, measured, useful, function, triangular, flat, diminishing, far, halo, glowing, ferocious, energetic, high energy, fast energy, moving, tapering, swirling, rotating, spinning, energy, flying, bright, hollow, defined, back and forth, and total.
Very good, very good. Bob?
That's interesting. I had wet, watery, long, brown, horizontal, elongated, surrounds me, bustling, gritty, green, brown, foggy, texture, rough, sandpaper, noises, pause.
How many people got energy anywhere in their session? How many people got water anywhere in their session? How many people got outdoors or anywhere in their session? How many people got subjects, life forms, entities in their session? I think you've all seen this picture once already today. It's a typical TDS move. You didn't ever think you'd see it again, but we give it right back to you.
Oh.
Very good, very good, very good, very good, very good. Okay. Pretty good, pretty good. I think I'm going to give this one to Kathy because she's got that sequence right in here. It's just perfect. Why don't you read that again?
Ferocious, energetic, high energy, fast energy, moving, tapering, swirling, rotating, spinning, energy, flying, bright, hollow, defined.
Very cool. Very cool. The essence of the session. You all did really well. 3 major elements in that session. You had water, you had energy, you had subjects. And of course, you could be outdoors. You can add a lot of other ones, but you had outdoor, water, energy, subjects. Very good, very good. Okay, let's take a stretch break. I need to show the picture. Who's got questions?
If you break it down, it's big, fat, round, and yellow. No, seriously, that's how it works.
Take a break? No, we'll take a break.